Module 4, ICT, Disaster Risk Reduction. And that topic came up where, well, obviously now we had to look at where we are now. We are in a Zoom world. Sometimes I have days, I call them Zoom's day, with meetings upon meetings. And then those are days, but then I forgot to add nighttime. Okay, you go home and then you have more Zoom meetings. That's where the world is, all right? And so this program, it's not only about that, but even before COVID-19 and the Zoom world, that there's technology that can be used in data gathering, but also in promoting education for this. What tools do we use? What technology do we use? And how can we use it in the actual phenomenon that we're dealing with? But now we're adding this dimension that even more so. So we had conceptualized the project before COVID-19, and we had this module in there, ICT and disaster risk reduction. So it's come full circle to us. How we use the mass media and communication.
Elaborate a little bit more on that, Dr. Nareed. Here we are, yes, we're in a pandemic. And of course, the use of technology has become much more important. You've spoken about the Zoom meetings and so on. You have to remember whether you're on video or on the audio or whatever, and how you're dressed and all of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, when we have these natural disasters, they affect ICT.
Yes.
They affect communication networks.
Yes.
And so on. The pandemic has not really affected so much ICT because we still have the use of it and so on. But in natural disasters, a lot of times, the ICT is affected negatively
yes.
with natural disasters.
Yes. So that is why we need communication. Because if a disaster were to strike, communication is important.
Extremely.
Extremely important. That's where mass media comes in. Do we have backup systems? How do we communicate with people if the national network were down? I'm not trying to...
and that is important.
Yeah.
Because I know we can speak about some lessons learned.
Yeah.
But
so that is that. But we can also have a risk to the ICT itself, the system itself. Because it's not only that you can have a physical disaster that causes a breakdown, but even the people who operate them, if they were sick, all of a sudden, what happens to it as well? The people who operate them. And no, we're talking a lot about working from home, all right? And so on. But how do we manage our system of communication and our ICT systems when all of a sudden everybody has to be from home? So it just creates an impact on it as well in terms of exactly how we utilize what we are accustomed to doing. So you remember Y2K?
yes.
That could have been a disaster, failures of markets and so forth. But you see, economic activities, they impact our lives. Food distribution networks, they're all linked, all right? And so all these things can be affected. So everybody is scrambling. But what happens now? If it were not necessarily that glitch, and we have learned our lesson there, are we prepared? How are we prepared into the future? In terms of foresight, we can have some foresight. See, there are uncertainties of the knowledge, but we must have some foresight. But at least we have that ethical responsibility to act upon what we do know. Otherwise, we'll be in denial, and it'll be an injustice to our fellow men and women.
Yes.
Now, so we have that. So how can we use our ICT to help in this process? All right, and manage the process. But it's also more about how we prepare to build resilience. All right, we can even test our systems, proof of concept, and so forth. Okay, now.